Yo, what up? Oh shit, I didn't even got my camera on. My camera was on. Yo, what's good? What's going on, peoples? Hi.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
It has been a long time for us for doing our stuff over here.
Yeah.
I know we wanted to do this show for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had to find the right time because I've been busy at work. I'd be so exhausted, and I wasn't feeling good at times too. So, we here though, man. Here we go. Oh shit, we back. That's right. 11 months.
Yeah. We've been talking about this video for a while. I had this idea, not that I invented it. I've seen other people do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted it to be hang on, I gotta share my screen. I wanted it to be just me and you on this, although we could have had other people because I don't want there to be like a lot of crosstalk, on this one.
Yeah.
Plus, I think you and me probably have, I don't know, the most video game knowledge. And wait, let me do this entire screen. So what we're gonna do tonight, Mike? Can you? I'm gonna share this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Mike and I are gonna rank all 112 video game consoles here tonight, and it's only gonna take us 6 hours. No.
What? Oh my god! Wow.
No. So that's not what we're gonna do. I mean, we are gonna rank consoles. Yes. I mean, obviously, we're not ranking all of these, but there will be some in here that we can talk about real quick.
Yeah.
Not all of them, obviously. And like, if you want to rank them, we'll rank them. We're also going to see tonight, in my opinion, because the way that in my mind this is going to work is we're going to rank them together and we're going to come to a kind of a consensus here, right? We'll use the chat too.
Yeah.
But we're going to see how biased Mike is and how unbiased Josh is.
Get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up.
Because.
But mind you, hold on. He's probably right because he set this whole shit up himself. So exactly, he will be unbiased. But go ahead.
Well, no, it's not that. It's because I feel like these are ranked not on. I mean, it plays a factor, but how you just like the console. It's how it did publicly, what it meant in history. All these different kind of things can factor in. Not just, oh, I like this console, so it's an S. No. That plays a little bit of a factor, sure.
No, listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna take this so serious that not everything's gonna get an S. Not a lot is gonna get. I'm gonna be very strict.
Okay, all right. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
We'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, and we'll kind of run with it from there. I wish I could have had a better tier list here, but this is probably the most complete one that I can find.
Okay.
With the name, so I know it's kind of small for people to see, but just having all these fucking pop-ups all over the place is kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. But we'll see where it goes. I think we'll have some fun with this, and people from the chat can chime in too, obviously, and
definitely, of course.
And we'll see where this goes. All right, so we don't even have to start either in exact order. Although we will
we do random
order. Yeah, but also I also kind of want to do it in somewhat of a release timeline. So like I don't want to just do like all the Nintendos, you know what I mean? Like I kind of want to do like PS3 and Xbox 360 together, like those kind of like that, generational wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's important, I think. Okay. All right. So what do you want to start with? Atari Pong? No.
Just start randomly somewhere in the middle.
Atari 2600? We're going to take out all the Ataris and Magnavoxes, and even though I could rank some of these, but I just think they're too old to be taken real seriously. Obviously, the Atari 2600 is, a very famous console. It's one of the first.
Yeah.
But
you know what's crazy? It is the most like one of the first ones that come out. But I wasn't familiar with that one.
You never had it?
What is it? The one I have up there. Well, you can't see it because it's behind all that shit.
What, do you have the 5200?
Is it 5200? Yes, this is the 5200.
I can't see.
Yeah, no, it's behind all that stuff. I'm saying. up there in box.
So I'll tell you real quick with the 2600. The 2600 was the first video game console I ever interacted with. And I found it at my grandfather's house. I don't think my father had it, but his brother, my uncle, had it. And we found it in the attic one day and we're like, what is this? And I remember playing some tank game on it. And we found out that you could play more than just like two tanks. It would kind of be like Pong almost, except you chase each other with tanks. And then we found out you could do more than just tanks. You could do planes. And when we found that out that you could do more than just tanks, it was like mind blowing. Because I don't know, it wasn't obvious to us. But we left it on when we went out someplace with my dad, and we came back and the thing was burnt out. So Atari 2600 burned out. So very disappointed with that. Let's what should we start with here?
Let's start with some goodies, man. Some good ones.
Nintendo?
I mean, you want to start off with the big dog?
Well, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not, because that's kind of.
Let's do some handhelds. Let's start off with some handhelds.
All right, let's start with what do you want to start off with? Game Gear or the Lynx?
You know, we can start with the Game Gear.
Game Gear? Okay. Yeah. Did you ever own a Game Gear?
I did not own a Game Gear, but I did play Game Gear.
Okay, I owned a Game Gear.
I thought this shit was so dope at its time. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was gonna blow Game Boy out the water, bro. Like, I thought it was gonna be the best, the next best step. But you know, like typical fashion. I mean, after that, Nintendo, established that ain't nobody messing with them, right? You know, but Game Gear was so dope. My favorite game on Game Gear was the Sonic game, the original Sonic game. And what was the wrestling game too? Was fun. What was it? Was it Raw? I forgot what it was. But yeah, man, it was amazing to have a handheld with the color graphics and stuff. That was pretty.
It was amazing for the time. It was.
For the time. Yeah.
I had a Game Gear, and it was awesome next to the Game Boy. At the time, it made the Game Boy look pretty weak. The games lineup, not the greatest, although there were some good games.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat 2 was pretty good for what it was.
Just the fact you could play Mortal Kombat 2 handheld, that was dope.
Yeah, it was different. It was a little bit different. I mean, it wasn't all the character, or was it all the characters? I can't even remember. It might not have been, but it was pretty close. My favorite games for Game Gear, honestly, from what I can remember, was Echo the Dolphin and Echo the Tides of Time. Okay. They were really good for Game Gear. Now, the problem with the Game Gear, though, a freaking battery drainer like you wouldn't even believe, right? And also they had the external battery that you could buy that looked like a Beats pill. It was like this. It was like that big.
I wasn't familiar with that because I couldn't afford that. I just went through the, what is it, like 12 AA batteries in the back or whatever it was.
It was 6.
Yeah, I know.
It was 3 on each side. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the time it seemed cool. Looking back on it, it I don't know, it doesn't last. To me, if I had to put it somewhere, I'd probably put it as like somewhere between a D and an E, personally.
I was gonna say a C. I'm gonna give it a C.
A C?
Yeah, I'll give it a C.
Well, I think D is probably.
Put it between.
Yeah, I wish you could put it on the line, but
you can't. All right.
But what we will do too is like say another thing gets a D. Well, we can put it like the first one is on the D line is probably is going to be the closest to it being a C. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, before we get out of the Game Gear, man, the Game Gear one, my favorite one was the blue version of it.
Oh yeah. Which one? Which was that for? That was for something special though.
I don't remember.
It might have been a Sonic game if I remember right. God, what was that for? I hated it. I didn't
think it was dope. I think the color was dope, you know.
What was it for? It might have been Sonic.
It could have been Sonic. Who knows?
All I remember is the Sega. You know, every time you start that thing up.
All right, next.
All right. We won't get too far into this. Have you ever played an Atari Lynx?
No, but I knew of it. But Atari's wasn't really, like I said, the only Atari I know was 5200. Is it?
I had a friend who would come over once in a while, was like one of those friends that didn't really live close, even though he lived in the same town. And he'd always have like the random shit that like nobody had. He was kind of like ahead of his time. He had an Atari Lynx that he brought over. It was pretty dope. I can't speak on it enough because I don't remember a lot of the games, but it was dope. It had a better form factor than the Game Gear. It was about as big, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But we won't rank that one.
Yeah.
What?
I said we'll leave that.
Yeah. What about this? Is another one we won't rank, but I remember it. I don't think I ever remember interacting with one.
It's so small, bro. I can't really see it.
The Sega Nomad.
The Nomad.
Yeah, I don't.
I've never played it. Never played it. I knew of it, and at that time, I think the other console was when this came out. Like Super Nintendo was out, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was the mid-90s. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, honestly speaking, at that time, it was all about Super Nintendo, bro. Super Nintendo was the shit. That's it. That's all I know.
I remember always looking at a Nomad in one of the video game magazines that I had at the time.
Nomad was amazing.
Man, I want that shit. I want it, but I never ended up getting one. If I remember right, I think it was like misshaped too. It wasn't like, I think one side was bigger than the other, if I remember. I could be wrong about that.
Boston Chris says that the Nomad was amazing. It was a portable Sega Genesis.
Oh yeah, did the actual Genesis cartridges go in there? I think they did.
I think so.
I think they did.
It played actual. Oh, it said he did. He said that he played actual Genesis game. Joker used to steal the AA from the TV remote. Game Gears.
That Game Gear, man, was oh god, it killed batteries.
Yeah, the Nomad was cool, man. It was a good idea, man. Good idea. How much does it go for now? I'm pretty sure it's pricey.
What, like
the handheld thing? I'm pretty sure.
No, I know, but like unopened.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. It's tough to find one unopened.
Yeah.
For sure.
Here, while we're on handhelds, I'll pick the next one. Okay. Let's go with the Sony PS Vita.
All right. And honestly speaking, this handheld was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that Sony
they didn't support it.
Yeah, they didn't put like what was it? PS3 at the time? It was PS3, right?
It was the end of the PS3 era.
Yeah.
Beginning of the PS4.
It was just unfortunate that they didn't have. I don't know. My whole thing is like they should have put the games that came out for PS3 in some type of way into the PS Vita. But even though the PS Vitas has some good games, man.
Yeah, it does.
What the hell was that? The Uncharted. The Uncharted game. Oh,
yeah. Yes, it is. It holds up with maybe the lower Uncharted games, but it's really good. The thing with the Vita, so I got the Vita 2 weeks early before it released in North America with this like special like deal that you could have pre-ordered it, but only through like certain, I don't know, it might have been only through GameStop, I can't remember, but it came with a special case and little deviants. But like you said, it was so ahead of its time, or I don't know if it was ahead of its time. It was in an era where portable gaming had moved to cell phones, and console gaming was all about power for the most part.
Yeah.
And Sony just did not support this thing right off the rip. Like the best games on this thing were like from independent studios. I still play my Vita to this day. It's over there. It's a great piece of freaking tech.
It's
freaking awesome. Right. And there's been a bunch of games on it that have not been ported over to like PS4 or so you can play them on PS3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
They tried to do it a little bit with the PlayStation TV. This thing right here, I have like 4 of these things, and we'll kind of put this together with the Vita. Where do you remember this thing, the PlayStation TV?
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I looked them up not too long ago. I think the PlayStation TVs go for a bit of money, not like anything crazy, but much more than you would think.
Yeah.
And I had one in every room because what you used to be able to do with them, they had a slot in the back that you could put your Vita game into it and play it with a PS3 controller. But you could also stream when they started doing remote play your PS3 games to it. It was a great idea. It just no one ever caught on to it. No one bought into the idea. They didn't support the Vita like they did the PlayStation Portable, and it's a real shame. So if I was
bad marketing too, because bad marketing on Sony's end, But at the same time, mind you, Sony was doing amazing with their home consoles. You know what I mean? I guess it just was like not really putting no mind to their handhelds or whatever. Even though their fucking Vita was just so amazing, so dope.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is right too. The memory stick was pretty expensive. I don't think that's the reason it died out. I just think they didn't market it well. They didn't support it well.
Yo, they didn't. I remember like back then you had to get the gigs, the whatever to store your games and this. Yeah. I was like, I'm out, man. This is so much.
No, Biggs, you're thinking about something different. You're talking about the PlayStation TV that was a 3D TV, and it was curved kind of sort of curved on the side. That's not what this is. That's not this PlayStation TV. That's not the same thing. It was like what you're talking about. It was like a 24-inch 3D screen when like they were trying to make 3D TVs popular, which I knew from Jump Street that 3D was just a fad and no one would stick around. So if I was to rank PlayStation Vita personally, I would rank it as an S for me. It's not though. You can't rank it as an S throughout history because
what are we we're ranking overall, right?
Yeah, overall. Okay. Everything comes into or is part of the deal here when ranking it. So PlayStation TV, I would say was probably an F.
I'm not ranking that because I didn't have that, but you could. Okay. All right.
PlayStation Vita, I'm gonna say is probably like somewhere between a C and a D.
I'm gonna give it a C.
Okay. I'll put it here for now, but I think it's probably a low C.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can't put it in between because
it'd
be better. I think a C is good. Like I said, man, if it was for Sony not marketing and all that stuff, I think that shit would have been up there too. Also, could have been one of the best handhelds, before the Switch.
Should have been. Yeah, it should have been. Yeah,
but it should have been. Yeah, definitely, man. Let me go back to some of the comments real quick, man. Open Nomad, because we were talking about the Nomad there, Josh. Sells for $200 on the low end, up to $600.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the screens were fragile too. For the Nomads, get the pixels. My man Biggs told about that over years. Yes, you're right. It was a shape of a PSP. Right, there we go. So Nintendo gets an S.
Yeah, we won't.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Yeah. All right, go.
All right, you can pick next.
All right, let me pick next. All right, let's go with the Sega Genesis.
Okay, we're not gonna go generation because there's 3 different ones.
Nah, we're gonna go with the OG, the original.
Yeah, the original one. Okay, speak on it.
I'm gonna give this one right here. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm grading it now, but I'm explaining why I'm giving it a B. I'm giving it a B, and I feel like a B is a very high grade for this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as I mentioned before, with the Game Gear, just being, just dope, with the color graphics and stuff like that. This is what it was, 16 bits,
mm-hmm.
right? Compared to the 8 bits that Nintendo came out. So to see a game for the first time in 16 bits, which is right now, obviously that shit ain't nothing now, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Back then, at that time, it was, I was like, damn. Honestly speaking, I thought Sonic was gonna kill Mario, just dead him, But after a while, we know, Nintendo's still king, you know what I mean? But at that time, Genesis was so dope. Sega, we were like, who the hell is this blue creature? I'm like, who's this? Burning fast. Game was kind of corny.
Yeah.
Turned out to be one of the dopest games in Genesis. It was the first game that came out with it. It was Sonic the Hedgehog. I think I played my first. All right, I played my first sports game on the Nintendo, but my first like NFL, like NHL 95 was on that. I was on a Sega Genesis. Mm-hmm. And man, if you ever played NHL 95 or 94, guys, you out there, guys, Yo, son, yeah, I'm pretty sure you had so much fun playing NHL 94 or
Hell
NFL
yeah,
95.
yeah.
You know, but go ahead, man. I'll give it a beat.
Okay, so Sega Genesis is one of those things where for a time I was a bigger Sega fan than Nintendo. And Sega
you can't even argue that, bro.
Yeah, was right with Super Nintendo. So much so where like in my school, like you were either Team Sega or Team Nintendo. And I was Team Sega like for the longest time. And the thing that obviously put in my mind Genesis over Super Nintendo, the one game that did it was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat,
the blood, right?
The blood.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the controller, while the controllers aren't advanced by any stretch of the means, it was a little bit more advanced than the Super Nintendo controller. Genesis, I mean, obviously, I wasn't too big of a Sonic fan. I mean, I played them like everyone else, and they're fine, but it's no Mario. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like Sega's place in history fighting with Nintendo at that time. Like I think B is an appropriate spot to put it because like there was a bunch of good games for Sega, but and I might be speaking on a turn here. There's none that like jump out at me that were like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Except to me, Mortal Kombat. Yeah. NHL 94.
Yes.
NFL
94. Sonic 1, Sonic 2. The wrestling games. Oh man, them wrestling games were so dope on Genesis, man. You know, Genesis was pretty damn dope back then. You know.
Oh yeah, Biggs, that's a good one. Streets of Rage. Yeah,
exclusively for the Sega.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's no games that like really... Ultra Beast
was dope, bro.
Yeah,
that intro, how it starts, rise from the grave, boom, 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 boom. All that
Primal Rage. Primal Rage for Game Gear too. Actually, now that I think about it.
Sure.
What?
I'm trying to like read some of the comments there. We got so many things to go through.
See the thing, yeah. The thing is too. What makes Sega hard is, was the Sega
Golden Axe.
What?
Golden Axe is though too.
Golden Axe.
Yeah.
Sega CD came right behind it, and there was a it just like kind of boosted it a bit.
Yeah,
I remember playing.
I got to Sega CD.
Top Gun. Yeah, so we won't really rank that because that was kind of like a peripheral add-on, whatever. But I think a B is a good place for it. I would have to agree with that.
Earthworm Jim was dope on the Genesis because it did come out for Super Nintendo.
Dude.
Oh no.
Earthworm Jim? Yeah, I think it. No.
Oh, it was only Genesis? I don't remember.
It both ways.
I know I played it in Genesis, but I could have sworn I thought it came out for Super
Nintendo. The other thing is too is Echo the Dolphin was on Genesis.
Yeah.
And Tides of Time. Those were good games.
Oh man, what was this other game? It was another game, man.
Oh, Evander Holyfield, Real Deal Boxing. That was another one that they had for Game Gear, and it was terrible. I had that. It was terrible. All you would see is your gloves. I don't remember. I don't know if that was like that for Sega.
That Michael Jackson game was dope too. Was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty badass, man.
But yeah, B. We'll leave it at B.
Yeah, we'll leave it. All right. Moving on, guys. Moving on.
All right. So my turn. So, well, since we did this, let's do the one that goes along with it where we have to talk about Super Nintendo, right?
Oh and my God! Wow.
Obviously, we know where this goes.
Yeah, that's gonna go with ass.
Yeah. I was kind of late to the party on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, because like I just told you, I was Genesis. I liked it better. But I mean, it's hard to argue with this being an S because of the game library. And the thing that puts, and this is going to come up later with some other consoles that I think you're going to rank high, that I'm going to rank lower, because not purposefully, but SNES games hold up very well because they're right at that point of it's not too low of pixels, but it's not weird yet where they started getting into like the polygonal shit where it doesn't hold up like some of later generations get to be, where a lot of games nowadays will go back and try to copy the same like 16-bit format styles from SNES or Genesis. But I mean, the classic game library. I mean, do we even have to roll through that of how many there are? I mean, there's just countless. Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the comment real quick. But I want to say my piece. You know what I mean? I'm gonna come back to you, Biggs. I'm gonna come back to you. Listen. I'm gonna give it an S as you. We both obviously agree S. I give it an S. I was on board since day one on Super Nintendo, but Genesis came out first, right? On the 16-bit, right? Am I mistaken or am I wrong?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're talking about North American launch, I forget what I think they were both 90 in North America.
No, I'm saying by months though. I think Genesis came out before.
I can't even remember at this point.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. But anyway, I was on board since day one of this because I'm a big NES fan. I love NES. It's just Super Mario World. To me, honestly speaking, Super Mario World is one of my favorite all-time video games.
Yeah, Super Nintendo was 91 for North America. Genesis was 89.
89. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, Genesis was first. See,
yeah.
So it was the first one with 16 bits. Then came Super Nintendo, which is and by the way, going back to Sega Genesis had them badass commercials.
Yeah, they did.
Badass commercials. But anyway, so the Super Nintendo here. The console was dope. Super Mario World was one of my favorite games of all time. Dude, I don't know. I'm gonna go back to where I saw the comment.
Big said, I don't even. That is just so reprehensible. Like I don't even know how to answer that. That is just blatantly untrue.
Well, he said Super Nintendo only has because of Mario, and it gets a B. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
No, that's the comment I was gonna get back to. And listen, man, you take away. Let's take away Super Mario World. Let's take away Super Mario World.
I'll take away 8 other games, and it's still an S.
Yeah, you still got my man said Legend of Zelda on S. It's a dope ass game. Final Fantasy 2,
Link to the Past, Super Mario RPG. Yeah, the Final Fantasy games.
F-Zero.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
To me, I'm just saying my favorite one's F-Zero. Well, what was it? Mega Man X. That was dope.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter.
Super Castlevania. Star Fox. God, now I'm drawing a blank. I'll pull this right
yes,
here.
It triggered us because it's just Super Nintendo's not only nostalgia. It is just like it hits, man. Like I remember getting my NES.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Super Metroid.
Mario Paint. What about Mario Paint with the mouse?
Yeah, Mario Paint with the mouse and the fucking bullshit. Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played that.
Metroid. You said Metroid?
Yes, I said Metroid. Donkey Kong. Punch Out.
1, 2, and 3.
Super Street Fighter. Like Kirby.
Yep.
Mario, Yoshi's Island. Like there's so many.
Super
like there's so many that you start getting blocked that you can't even remember them all. I said Super Mario RPG. I said that.
Yeah. The amount of time too I put on Super NES. Oh man, this is crazy, bro. I'm surprised my shit didn't burn out. That's how much time I put into it, and I still have my original Super Nintendo back here in the shelf.
Dude, Super Nintendo became one of those things for me where like several consoles later, I still had that thing plugged in and would go back to it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, Josh. But yeah, the chat is agreeing with us, man.
Earthbound.
That's one of those first games, like games like that I ever played that I liked. I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's another one. The Star Wars, the Super Star Wars trilogy, the Lion King, Aladdin, even the Disney games were good.
Yeah.
I said Donkey Kong Country. I said that.
Yeah.
I said Super Punch Out.
But yeah, it's just you're the endless. You're big.
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. That's just an expensive game now. Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
we said
Demon Crest. Oh, Demon Crest. I don't know if y'all remember Demon Crest. If y'all ever played Demon Crest, that shit was a hell of a game on Super Nintendo. Expensive too, also.
You're right, Biggs. Those games were on the Disney games.
And believe it
were
or
on
not,
Genesis.
I enjoy. I don't even remember. I don't remember playing Lion King. I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't remember. I remember Aladdin, and Aladdin played better on Genesis for me.
Yeah, they did, but they were still there. But I'm just starting to name games now.
Yeah.
But if I had a picture of Big's face, he'd get an F right now. I'll tell you that for that
Oh,
comment.
yeah, he got F minus
You get a Z.
for that comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo this man. Boo him in the comments or in the chat. I mean.
Oh man, yo. But yeah, obviously that right now top dog is Super Nintendo for now. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, man. Going on, Chef.
I'm not a Nintendo fanboy.
Hold on. He said what? Nah, you guys are Nintendo fanboys, so y'all going not biased on Nintendo.
I literally just said that I was a Genesis.
Hold on. I don't know if he was around when Josh explained how we're ranking these. We're not ranking these. We're kind of talking about of the time of what it is.
Well, too, like how we feel about them, how they rank in history, how history remembers them, how they sold, all these things come. It's not just, It's a fucking hard ass game.
Hell yeah, we listen and we don't. We listen and we don't judge.
No, we judge off of that.
Off of Biggs when it comes to dumbass comments.
You judge that, man.
All right, so moving on. I pick.
Yeah, your pick.
All right. Damn, we did. Let's go with the original Xbox.
Okay.
Let's go with the original Xbox.
I think we're gonna get. Well, maybe not on this one, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna give this original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I wish I can put it. I wish you can put it where it really belongs when I say it. But I want to.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yeah.
I guess you want to put it here.
No.
But I think you'd put it here.
I was thinking between A and B.
Okay, that's fair.
I want to give it an A. I want to keep it at between A and B. The game is just. I mean, the system is just so dope. The launch. I don't know if y'all remember the launch, guys out there. When Bill Gates came out with it, and The Rock, he had The Rock.
Yeah, and he took the black cloth off it. Yeah,
shit was so dope. You know, a console that's ahead of its time. The hardware on this system, amazing, holds up to this day.
And the first internet connection.
Yeah, and the first internet connection. You can play your first time Xbox Live. I played on an original Xbox. I got Bodies account from COD and Biggs. I created it on my original Xbox account, which was 24 years ago, whatever it is, 23 years ago. I forgot what year it came out. But yeah, original Xbox was so dope, man. It's some classic games I can remember off the head. Halo, obviously, Halo 1, Halo 2, first game you could play multiplayer that I can remember. Because Halo 1 was awesome because me and my neighbors, like, we'll come outside in our hallway because I'm in the projects, and he'll have his TV set up, I have my TV set up, and we'll play System Link. And so I have 4 players here, 4 players. It was so dope, you know, just playing like that. Good memories on that. Other games like what is it? I remember playing a lot of that Simpson game, Hit and Run. I remember that. There was another one. I think it was Max Payne that came out for the original Xbox. I think it was. Yes, I think it was. That was also dope on that. But I think a fair grade for me is going to be between an A and a B.
Okay.
So that's what I got.
That's where I would have put it. I would have put it on the low, like the lowest of the A. So I'll put it as an A for now, but I think it'll end up down here somewhere.
Yeah.
And the reason I put it there is more so for its place in history.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, you know, I don't want to say Nintendo was failing. They weren't failing, but they were in one of their kind of lull periods, and PlayStation was really starting to pick up. And Xbox just was a new challenger, you know, and they managed to obviously stick around. Yeah. I never actually owned an original Xbox, but my friend Steve, one of my best friends, Steve,
did it interest you or not? Not really. At the time.
Yes and no, because I looked at it as more of a mature console than PlayStation or what Nintendo had at the time. But at the time, to me, it didn't have the games other than Halo that I was really interested in. Now, I only played it the original Xbox in the beginning, because Xbox came out. What year did Xbox came out? Was it?
I think it's 2000.
2000. Yeah. So that was right when I was going to college, and my video game playing obviously went way down, during the back half of high school and going into college for obvious reasons. I'm more into cars and girls than I am playing video games, but it deserves to be up here, I think, for its place in history for a couple of reasons. I can't really speak that much on its games, but obviously it stuck around. I mean, it's still here, and video game consoles are very hard for companies to break into. Very hard. I mean, Google can't do it. Apple can't do it. They try, they can't. So you got to give them credit, and they had a hit on the first one.
Yeah, real quick, Boston Chris, he mentioned about the Xbox was great for modders, and definitely, man, you can hack that joint, and man, it holds up. I'm telling you, man. It's one of the first systems that you can download movies into. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool. I just thought it was an amazing, ahead of its time. Like I said, ahead of its time. So many comments I would like to read to them, but I gotta move on, man. We gotta move on.
All right, what should we do next? Should we do the PlayStation 2, because
it goes with it, right?
With it.
Okay. Yeah, we could do PlayStation 2.
All right, so we'll do the PlayStation 2, and we'll do the original PlayStation 2, not the shitty Gen 2 skinny version that I freaking couldn't stand.
That's the one I have.
Oh god.
I had the original one, but I played like the modern now, the slim one.
So I have mixed feelings on the PlayStation 2, and this is going to sound weird, but here's why. Obviously, it belongs here because it's the best-selling console of all time. It came with a DVD player, which was revolutionary. There's a good amount of good games.
The library is massive, bro. Pause.
Yes.
Crazy.
However, looking back on it now, to me, most of the games do not hold up well at all.
I agree.
And this is this weird generations of gaming around here where it's like from about like 99 to 2005-ish is, for the most part, like the games just do not hold up, even though back then they were the greatest games. Like obviously Grand Theft Auto, obviously that
one of the best-selling games. Yeah,
awesome at the time. I remember getting GTA 3 for Christmas and just being like absolutely blown away. Go back and try to play GTA 3 now.
Yeah,
seriously, you can play it, but it's kind of hard to play.
It's boxy.
The hands are all boxy, and yeah. Like Vice City was my favorite too, but GTA 3 was also.
It goes. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because not long ago I turned it on, and me and my son was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and one of my favorite games, Metal Gear Solid 2, and at that time, the opening scene when the George Washington Bridge, he jumps off. I thought it was so dope.
Yeah.
The gameplay though is just now,
now.
But back in the time, I just thought it was so amazing.
Yeah, but when that came out, man,
Need for Speed was awesome.
I think
that'll hold up. Like racing games probably will hold up more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't. I mean, when I bought mine came with Gran Turismo 3. But a lot of people bought the PlayStation 2 just for the DVD player.
Yeah.
People who weren't even in parents and shit buying it because it had a DVD player, and it was a great price for $300. I think it was $300. Yeah, it was $299 launching, I think. But I don't look back fondly at the PlayStation 2 because I don't know. To me, when they put out that PS2 Slim, it looked so cheap to me. And the other thing is like PS2. I mean, and this speaks to how good it was, I guess. It held on for a ridiculous amount of time. They were still making PS2 games It was something crazy. Like they just stopped in like 2016 or some. Now it wasn't very many, but it was something stupid like that. Like not that long ago, they stopped making PS2 games. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, very obviously none of the big game makers, but like some like small game makers in like Japan would still make PS2 games. Yeah, crazy shit, man.
No.
Yeah. So
So I mean, by default, what we're gonna leave it as S because it's the best-selling console of all time.
yeah. I think you have to. Wow, somebody just bought my thing for $1,000. Cool.
Oh, nice.
Not
Nice
that
to
today.
have money.
I guess so.
You could buy
Yeah,
yourself
well,
another PlayStation 2.
you're right.
But yeah, it's well, we
Do you think it belongs on S?
and
I think it. I don't personally put it as an S, but I think it has to be an S.
I would put it down between, like I said, I would between a B and an A, or maybe an A. I'll give it an A.
I
But
think
by default, I guess if it's the best-selling console of all time, then
I think you have to for where it stands.
Was that the best-selling? Yeah, no, it is the best-selling console of all time.
Yeah.
So
You're
we'll
right.
leave it up there, I guess, for now.
That's right. It was also backwards compatible with PS1 games.
Oh man, PS1. Can we compare? Might as well talk about PS1 now.
If you want.
Yeah, I guess knock it out the way. Since we're on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I think we're going to be different on this one, but maybe not. Go ahead.
PlayStation 1 memorable games for me. Like my man Biggs, you mentioned it was Tenchu, Max Payne. No, I don't remember Max Payne on PS1. Gran Turismo 2 was one of my favorite games. I think that's the best Gran Turismo in my opinion. But my favorite game besides Metal Gear Solid, the PS1 was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. When that shit came up with the PS1.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get it for the N64?
No.
Oh, it was so corny for the N64. It plays so much better for the PS1. Yeah, but the PS1, so awesome. I'm gonna give it shit. You know why? Is for me, I'm gonna give it a. This high. I'm gonna give it A.
Okay.
This high.
In front of Xbox or behind it?
A little bit. I'm gonna give it in front of Xbox.
Okay, that's where I would put it too. Again, only because of its place in history. I mean, when this came out, there was no real challenger to Nintendo. Sega was starting their decline, and some of these other like TurboGrafx and what the Jaguar and shit like that. They weren't real challengers. 3DO and shit. They weren't real challengers. I don't have that fond of memories of the PlayStation 1.
Oh, I do.
For real.
I remember buying my whole shit. Well, I got it as a Christmas gift. I remember everything. I remember it was so dope, so memorable for me. But not to cut you off, but going back, before PS1, I know Nintendo and Sony was supposed to be coming out with a system or an attachment for the Super Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And Nintendo pulled out of that.
Yeah.
And then we moved on, and Sony made their own shit.
And there was actually a prototype that somebody actually has one.
Really?
Yep.
So that got to be expensive as hell.
Yeah, it was a whole. I mean, and that's a good point. The whole thing between Nintendo and Ken Kutaragi, who is the father of PlayStation, and he convinced Sony to. Well, Nintendo's not going to do it because Nintendo ended up going to Panasonic, if I remember right.
Okay.
They took the idea from Sony. I think they already had a contract and everything, and ended up going to Panasonic for something. And I think that either fell through or they used like Panasonic's discs or something like that. Possibly for the GameCube. I can't remember. I'm probably misremembering that. But they screwed the whole deal and then created a brand new competitor who, ended up overtaking them for many years. No. But PlayStation also another console where great at the time, bunch of good games. Playing a lot of these games now, very tough. Very tough. But the other thing, here's the other thing, and this is a minor gripe that I hated about PlayStation 1. I hated their games and how they came in like CD cases. They looked like, to me, like they were homemade burned, games. And you could do that too.
I did like the original ones when they came out with the long box, the long ones. You remember those were dope.
Yeah.
Those were awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, I agree with you. When they came out in jewel cases, like
Mhm.
the CD cases, I'm like, they crack easily.
They just look cheap.
Some of them broke off for me.
Yeah.
I easily lose my damn fucking manuals. I'm like, I agree. That they suck. That suck. They suck.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean, they were learning. It was their first thing. It's a minor gripe, but I mean, obviously, they deserve an A for their place in history. Kind of like the first Xbox. It was a good out the gate. Try.
What you got next?
Well, let's stick right in the same generation. We were just kind of talking about it. Let's talk about the GameCube.
Okay. All right. GameCube. You start off since you brought it up. Go.
So GameCube is again, in the era. Well, this is more with the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, but where I did not have a GameCube. I played it.
Me neither. My brother had one.
Now, people will swear to this day that one of the best controllers ever made, if not ever made, was the GameCube controller.
360 for me, but no, I don't agree.
I don't agree with the 360. I don't agree with the GameCube controller either. But GameCube had not the biggest game library, but a very solid game library. With Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker being one of the biggest titles. Yeah. Again, GameCube, I think gets to me. I would say it's a B, a high B to a low A. Again, I think
you can put it on the B side.
With these two, it's more of its place in history. It was arguably the first Nintendo console that didn't do like gangbusters, so it was starting on a little bit of a decline. Mm-hmm. The generation for them didn't last that long. I mean, shit. When did the GameCube come out?
2001, if I'm not mistaken. 2000.
Was it? I mean, the Wii came out in 2006, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a very, very, very small.
I was just about to say that, Boston Chris.
What
it was his first disc system, stepping away from
cartridge. Mini discs. Yeah. I just never liked the form factor of the GameCube. With the handle and it. I don't know. It was just.
I personally do like the console itself because this thing's in the name. GameCube is a cube. So I do like how it looked. Control wise, it's good. It's a good controller. Not the best controller, but it's a good controller. Comfortable, fits good. The buttons were easily accessible with your fingers. The library, man, the library in that system was pretty damn dope. It's not deep, but it's dope. Simpsons Hit and Run was awesome on that one. The best to me, honestly speaking, the best Mario Kart is Double Dash. Double Dash, and it was on the GameCube, which is awesome when you could tag team. Play with two different characters in Mario Kart. I think that was dope. Other games, the first time I seen Resident Evil 4 was on a GameCube. Well, again, Resident Evil 4, arguably one of the best Resident Evils.
Didn't they do some sort of Metal Gear?
Yes, it did. Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That's an expensive game. That game is over $100 for the GameCube. Open, not even sealed. Sealed, I don't know, maybe more. There's a lot of expensive games in the GameCube. When it first started off, it wasn't a hitter. It was not a hitter. Now it's a hitter. Now as collectors,
I think it's remembered more fondly than it actually was.
Yeah,
at the time,
it's a slip-on console though.
Yeah. It is, but
Because
I
if
don't
you
know.
look back and I go back and I have a nice decent library for GameCube. Yo, them games are amazing, bro.
Yeah, sure,
Amazing.
but
And I'm gonna keep it 100. We haven't even gotten to that as a console yet, but it killed. Off the in the Nintendo 64 compared to the GameCube. GameCube was S, in my opinion. It was better. It's the best console. It was superior than the N64, in my opinion.
well, we'll get there. But I don't know if I mean in terms of like graphics and
Yeah,
things like
that's what I
that.
mean. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B.
But okay, in back of Genesis or in front of it?
Oh, for the Genesis.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that, but okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. You can keep it the way it is.
Well, we'll leave it there for now. All right. Oh, Metroid Prime. Yeah, that's it.
Metro
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Echoes. There was the second one. I forgot what it was. Awesome. Game.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking of one for Wii. All right, go ahead.
Michael?
Yeah.
We did Nintendo, we did Sony, we did Microsoft. Is there anything different? No. No. You know what? Let's do a Game Boy. Let's do a Game Boy.
The original Game Boy.
There's so many different Game Boys. Should we just line it up as one, or
well, no? I think
because you got Pocket, Color.
Yeah, I think you have to do. No, I don't think color. I don't think you do Color or Pocket. I think you have to do original Game Boy. I think you have to do Game Boy Advanced, and then I think you have to do
Separate.
the 3DS or
okay, let's just go with the original Game Boy.
The DS, not the 3DS. The DS, the Game Boy Advance, and then the original. I think that's what you have to.
Okay, all right. Oh, Dreamcast. We could do Dreamcast. I'm gonna save that one for next, Biggs. Game Boy.
All right, the original Game Boy.
Graded first, so we could talk about this, man. Game Boy. When I first saw my brother, I never owned the Game Boy. My brother, he had the original one. My mom hooked me up with the regular Nintendo or whatever. My brother got in box. I remember Christmas Day, he had a box. I'm like, look that.
I still remember the box. Yep.
Came with the headsets. It came with this. It came with that. From what I remember, the game that came with it was Tetris.
Yep.
In the box.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude. That Tetris to this day is my favorite Tetris because of nostalgia reasons.
There's only one place this goes.
Yeah. For you?
I think for anybody it should be.
I can't put it as an S. It's a couple consoles up there. Yeah, S. I could give. I'm gonna give it a B.
No way.
I'm gonna give it a B.
No.
I'm gonna give it. Well, you give it an A?
No, it's an S.
An S?
Yeah, it's an S. It's absolutely an S. It revolutionized handheld gaming. That's number one. And number two, I think, I could be wrong, it might be the best selling. I mean, if you combine all the different Game Boys, I think it's definitely the best selling console of all time, if you consider it a console. There's
the Game Boy?
Yes. I mean, there is so many good games on the Game Boy. I mean, an absolute ton that people probably wouldn't even know.
I get Pokemon Game Boy on. Yeah, Pokemon games were dope, but the Pikachu games was dope. The yellow one. Mario Land was my thing.
Super Mario Land on Game Boy was not like a real Super Mario game, but it was still good.
Yeah, it was good.
Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, honestly speaking, maybe a little bit more than a handful of games that were good for me in Game Boy. That's about it.
Yeah, but did you even play it that much?
No, the Game Boy, yeah, I played it. I never owned it, but I played it because my little brother had it.
All the Mega Man games, great. Final Fantasy, well, they called it Final Fantasy Adventures back then. Great. Donkey Kong, great. I mean, obviously Tetris. Now I'm going to start throwing a block.
Listen, I gave it a B. I think B is good. It's not a failing grade.
Zelda.
Not a bad grade.
I understand that. I think that's just too low for its place in history.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it has to stand up at an S. Chat, what do you say?
I mean, I say S. I say B. Yeah, let us know, chat. You know, right now it's in between. It's an A right now. Right now it's an A.
Between me and Mike, it's an A. But if it's going to be an A, it's going to be ahead of PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, I want to hear people in the chat what they think, man.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just like.
Do you remember the magnifying glass that?
Yes, I remember that. The shit that you could print, the printer shit, or whatever.
Oh, the printer, which was stupid. But I'm talking about the magnifying glass with the light, and then it had the joystick that you could put over the pad.
The biggest give it an E. Other than hold on, it's a solid A. Okay. Bordering S. Oh damn. Boston says, other than that, it was solid. You can take your Nintendo on the go. That was dope. You could.
Dude, here's gonna be a wild comment, and I could go either way on this one.
The flashlight.
Not in terms of its place in history.
Got 2 A's so far.
But I think the Game Boy is better than the original Nintendo. I'm not saying it should rank higher than the original Nintendo, but I can make a case that the game library for Game Boy is better than the original Nintendo. I could make a case.
No way. And mind you, hey, we'll get when we get to it, we'll get to it. You know. Go ahead. You come on with your next console.
All right, so we'll leave.
Everybody said 2 A's, one closer to an S, so I guess we'll keep it at an A. We'll keep it at A. All right. So go ahead.
All right. So
exactly now that's crazy talk.
I said I could make. I didn't say it was. I said I could make a case.
Yeah, I was about to. That's the NES was a deep ass line. What? Oh yes, it was.
Yeah, and so does the Game Boy.
And so many. No. Nintendo NES has way more nostalgic classic games on it than it does on Game Boy.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is there's a shit ton of Game Boy, a shit ton of really, really good fucking games.
Josh, what? Smoking some good stuff right now. Game Boy has crappy parts. The original one, excuse me, does. You pick it now.
You want to go with the Virtual Boy?
That's what I'm saying. Oh, Virtual Boy. To me, yeah. Expensive games as hell. The one for the Virtual Boy, but yeah, we're gonna agree. Is a flunk on that. You can't make a winning case on the Game Boy over NES games. You know, for Josh, hey, listen, man, he has his opinion. That's fine, you know. But I agree with you guys in the chat. NES is just.
I mean, I wouldn't rank the Game Boy again. I keep saying I can make a case. I'm not saying it's a great case. And I would rank a Nintendo higher and the NES higher than the Game Boy, obviously.
No, he said great. Give it an F for the Virtual Boy, and the Virtual Boy give it a Z. Give it a Z.
Yeah. Which means Biggs probably thinks it's an A.
Yeah, Biggs is gonna give it an S plus.
Yeah.
Fine, we all agree. Virtual Boy a big F. Terrible system. Yes.
Did you ever play one?
It's a super. No, I did not play it. I found it not interesting because at that time Virtual, I'm like, what the fuck, how good of the graphics, and then I saw overall on how they look or whatever, and I knew it was gonna not be a good one,
Yeah, the same dude that I told you that had the Atari Lynx, he had a Virtual Boy. Stupid. The stupidest fucking thing.
Negative Z.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, so that's what you picked?
Yeah.
All right. Damn, what's a good one to pick, guys? Oh, Dreamcast. I said Biggs. Dreamcast. We go Dreamcast. I did it for Biggs. Dreamcast right here. This shit is the most underrated, one of the most awesomest system there is. Like this is the first time I played a console. House of the Dead 2. I played an arcade, right?
Mm-hmm.
I played an arcade, great game, boom, 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 whatever. I played that game on a Dreamcast, and it was the same exact thing. I hate playing games in arcades that when you play at home in the console, it's not the same feeling. Doesn't look good. Doesn't. But when I play that shit on a Dreamcast, oh baby, that was so dope, so awesome, so amazing. Uh, in some ways, is revolutionary. The Dreamcast a little bit. I feel like like the GameCube, the time length, it was like that because Sony already established, and they were just going running with the torch. But Dreamcast, the library on Dreamcast games are so dope. All the 2K games, the NBA, the NFL 2Ks were awesome. What was that racing game? Was it Ridge Racer? No, it wasn't Ridge Racer. I forgot what game it was on the Dreamcast. It was so awesome. But the games, Street Fighter versus Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, awesome on the Dreamcast. SNK versus Capcom, awesome on the Dreamcast. House of the Dead was awesome. Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I didn't play that one. Crazy Taxi was dope on the Dreamcast. Just to keep on naming off the head. Sonic Adventures, awesome on the Dreamcast. It's just that's all I gotta say, But my grade for a Dreamcast, saying that as a system, I never owned the system when it came out. I have it now. I never owned it when it came out though. For me, I'm gonna give it a solid B.
No fucking way.
A solid B.
No.
Yeah. What you give it, an S? You can't give everything an S, bro.
I'm not giving it an S. This is a fucking D. It had some good games.
A Sega Dreamcast?
Yes.
A D.
It had the worst controller ever made.
Controller was wacky.
Ever.
It was wacky.
Why they put the cord out of the fucking bottom of the thing?
Yeah, the bottom. That
was stupid. This is when Sega was failing. I think the console only sold like 9 million units or something stupid like that.
Like, how long did it last? Only a couple years.
Well, obviously, because it was a failure.
98 to like 2002, maybe it was? Not even, maybe. I don't know. First console with AI. It's thinking.
Released.
I give it a B. You give it a B. Give it an A. I give it a B. Josh gives it a D. I said no. Dreamcast was a solid console.
Who gives it an A? Biggs. Who gives it a B? Eli. You see, you guys are. This isn't how you feel about it. That's not the primary thing. There's 99, no way you can say the Sony Dreamcast in the history of consoles is a B. It isn't. It's not even anywhere close to a B. It was a complete failure. Yes, it's looked back at fondly for some reason.
But if you're going to go with that, then the GameCube was a failure too.
Yes. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's a failure, but you cannot tell me that people look back fondly on more fondly on a GameCube than a Dreamcast. Let's just go off of sales. Not that that's everything. What did the GameCube sell? The GameCube sold 21.74 million units. Double. More than double.
You got beat by the same play over and over. Again, the slogan was "It's thinking." I really don't remember much of
The other thing too that I remember with this for some weird reason was the launch. They did something weird where when they announced it in America, it they said it ended up coming out like a couple days or weeks later. It was something really weird.
Yeah. Dreamcast flunked because of the 32X, the Saturn. Saturn was a dope ass system too, man. Releasing people lost faith in Sega after Dreamcast came out. Yeah, like I said, man, if you go back and you play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, to me it plays best on a Dreamcast. It beats out PlayStation 2 game, how it plays in the PS2. Original Xbox, it beats out the way it looked, the graphics, the gameplay. It's just, for me, that is my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Phantasy Star. Fantasy Star Online was the blueprint of MMORPGs. It was a blueprint of the World of Warcraft style games. It was ahead of its time.
I'll put it here begrudgingly, but there's no way it's a fucking B.
It's a B, bro. It's
No,
a B.
it's
a
not a B.
solid B too at that.
It's not.
It's a solid B. Ah, solid.
It isn't.
Solid. All right. Now let them know people in the chat, man. Let's go. All right. B. See, B. What you got now, man? The VMO card. Oh, the memory cards too. Remember those shit? This is dope. That was the first time you see like a virtual, thing like that. You hook up to your B. All right, there we go.
Biggs is now saying Biggs is saying B. He said A before.
Easy B, and I didn't really like the system. But give it, like I said, man, I fell in love with it when it was the freaking arcade game, House of the Dead 2, when they came out for it with the gun. But
that's the thing. Give it its due. What due? Nobody bought it. That's like, see,
I wanted it. I wanted it. I didn't have it, but I wanted it.
But again, see, this is like the same thing with the Vita. Like the Vita, in terms of tech and all the independent games that like nobody played, I would give it an S. It's not an S though.
Oh, you bought it, okay, Eli and Biggs. Okay, y'all bought it. I didn't own one. I had a friend that owned one. I wanted it though. When I played House of the Dead, I'm like, I needs this.
Yeah, Eli's right. Sega did screw Sega. I mean, they just had discussion for a different day. All right.
Big man.
So, what am I gonna say? Or pick? Let's pick
games and killed it. That's why it's called. Yeah, I remember my fucking PS1 was hacked. I burned majority of my games on PS1 were burnt games, bro.
All right, let's go with the Nintendo 64.
Okay, go.
So, Nintendo 64 to me is this weird one where how many units did Nintendo 64 end up selling? It had to be quite a bit.
It was a lot. Excuse me.
It was 32.93 million, so basically 33 million. Nintendo 64 with just a couple games to me puts it probably higher than it should be. The controller was one of these controllers that you either hated or loved. When people first saw it, they're like, this is the stupidest fucking thing ever. But it grew on you pretty fast, or at least it did with me and the people that I knew. I don't think the game library was that great. It had some phenomenal games, don't get me wrong. It did. I think, in my opinion, it's a B.
A B in front of the Cube.
Well, see, I think it's but you think the GameCube is in front of the Genesis. Yeah. I don't think the GameCube is in front of the Genesis. If this was me, I would put it as Genesis, Nintendo 64, GameCube.
So you're saying basically Genesis is better than the GameCube?
Yes.
And then you're saying the Nintendo 64 is better than the GameCube?
In terms of where its place in history is, yes.
Okay.
I would, like, maybe as stupid as this sounds to some people, I would put Nintendo 64 over GameCube purely on Ocarina of Time alone.
Ocarina of Time, arguably one of the best Zelda games.
And plus, and that's another good point, arguably the best wrestling games were on Nintendo 64. To this day, in my opinion.
I'll give you all that. Have you played this Nintendo 64?
Oh, that's the other thing. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark.
Yep.
Like there was, I don't think there was like a ton of good games, but some of the games that they had were like excellent games, and what they did in like for history. You know?
For history, yeah, definitely.
So to me, if this was up to me, this is how I would put it, like that.
I'll give you the Genesis, fine. but it's not 64 to me. Not gonna. I don't know. Okay. You know what? I'm thinking about it. Fine. And regardless, they're all Bs. It don't matter. I don't go fuck.
I mean, I don't know if you're
they're all Bs.
If you're looking at this as, yeah, the GameCube was better tech, but the GameCube did not have better game or more historic.
Okay, no, okay. Now I'm right. I'm thinking about this and what we're talking about. When all right, let me talk about the 64 now. When the 64 came out, my brother, he always had the dope ass consoles. I mean, I had the good ones, but I had like the PS2s and stuff like that. He had the Nintendo stuff. Nintendo 64 when it came out, he had the Donkey Kong Country, the Jungle Green, and 64, the see-through green,
yeah,
with the expansion pack and you know all that good stuff, whatever. Nintendo 64 was a very awesome system.
Pod Racer, man.
Huh?
Pod Racer.
Oh, the Pod Racer, the Star Wars game?
Mm-hmm.
That was dope. It felt like
Nintendo... Vigilante 8. Sorry.
It felt like because Nintendo didn't miss a beat. Because when NES came out, you know, with the cartridges, you put it inside. Yeah. Nintendo came out with the Super Nintendo. You put your cartridge on top. Boop. Nintendo came out with the N64. Same shit. Like it wasn't missing a beat. Like you was familiar with it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna give it a B. And I'm put it in for now. I changed my mind. I'm gonna put it in front of the GameCube because I'm thinking now of the time. I'm like the hype for Nintendo 64 was more real than it was for the GameCube at the time.
By a lot. The sad thing is though too, Nintendo 64 games do not hold up very well.
They don't. I was about to say that. Have you played it recently?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Blocky and
yeah. That's what I'm saying. In this generation right here, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, just hard. Even the earlier end of PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, just hard to go back and play some of these games.
And you know what, man? And I don't know if y'all feel the same way about this or whatever. You know, going back to y'all talking about wrestling games, my favorite wrestling game was WrestleMania 2000. When WrestleMania 2000 came out, when you could create your character, create your finishers, and do all that stuff, your entrance, your theme songs. Oh, that was just so badass, you know. I have, you know, but yeah,
the best wrestling game ever was WCW Revenge.
That was dope.
It was fucking dope. The best.
Yeah, Turok. I wasn't a big fan of Turok.
Neither was I. I remember playing WCW Revenge and being absolutely blown away because I was so big into wrestling that I'm like, I can literally do every move of every wrestler. And it looked good. And the other thing, like obviously Ocarina of Time, when I got that, like I could still to this day like put myself back in my whatever year-old self I was, 14 or whatever, or no, maybe a little older than that, 15 or 16, something like that. And be right back there. I mean, just absolutely blown away with that game.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I agree. I changed my mind because I really thought about it, and y'all right. It goes in front of the GameCube. Regardless, it don't matter. They still be.
Mm-hmm.
I like those games that y'all mentioned too, man. One of my first games that I played for 64 we beat was me and my brother and my neighbors. We broke night and we played Donkey Kong 64, which is honestly speaking not a very good game, you know, but we beat it. You know, it was pretty dope. All right, so we're moving on, right? All right, man. I can't really see these consoles though. Let's go. Let's just knock it out the way, man. Let's go.
How about that? There we go.
That's a little better.
Yeah. Even though this is going to be in the way now.
Ads. Yeah, it don't matter though. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go with anybody in the chat, man. Mention something. Go ahead. Let's take one from the chat. Let's take a request from the chat.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna take a piss.
Go pee-pee. Go pee-pee. What you gotta do, man? Do what you gotta do. Let me see. Show. Okay. Anyway, guys, while he's doing that, let me know what y'all think. Dreamcast. Was that Atari Lynx? You want to do Atari Lynx? I mean, I'm not. I never really played it, so y'all can grade them or whatever. But I was thinking PS3. Maybe we could talk about Neo Geo. Neo Geo. We could do Neo Geo because I've played Neo Geo certain games, not much. How you give the Atari Lynx an F? All right, so there we go. We don't have to put that shit up, man. This is an F. It was color, but sucked. Neo Geo C, okay. I was gonna say PS3, but let's do Neo Geo. Let's see Neo Geo. When Neo Geo came out, this sucker was that was a break. That was a system, right? Neo Geo. You know, we're going with Neo Geo.
Neo Geo?
Yeah, we're
Really?
going. Yeah.
Did you experience enough of that?
I experienced a couple of games, but the chat picked Neo Geo. They're giving it good grades. A C. I see somebody said an S. So I give it, honestly speaking, the games that I played, I give it maybe like a C, a D, maybe. Neo Geo. I'm not too familiar with it. That's why I give it that low of a grade. I'm not too
I
familiar.
played it.
I know the damn cartridge was fucking massive, bro. Like freaking.
I might remember this wrong. Didn't they? Or maybe this was Jaguar. I remember they tried to make Pitfall big again. I can't remember who did it, but for some reason I remember it as one of
The
them.
Atari Jaguar. I think it was a Jaguar. So,
Yeah, I think it was too. We're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna rank the Neo Geo.
Yo, dude, yeah. Neo Geo. The games are like hundreds of dollars, bro. Expensive as hell. All right, so we're gonna skip that. I was gonna go with the. I was thinking originally PS3.
Okay. Well, if we do the PS3, then we have to do the Xbox 360 right beside it.
Are we ready for that, or we can hold off on that?
Whatever you want.
Now, let's just do it. Let's do it. All right, let's do PS3.
PS3.
Yeah. All right, PS3.
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 And we're going with. I think with the PS3, we're gonna do not the original PS3. We'll do the Generation 2 one.
Yeah,
the best version of it.
No, but overall, we're talking about PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We'll use this picture.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
the first thing I was gonna say, you clarify that. The first thing I was gonna say off the PS3 is that when I first bought my PS3,
you have to use everything.
The most, and I'm pretty sure you might probably agree with me.
Yep.
The ugliest system.
I don't think it's the ugly. I don't think it's the ugliest. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's the ugliest.
That shit is ugly, bro. When
it's ugly, but I don't think it's the ugliest. I don't even think it's the.
All right. Well, how about this? The ugliest PlayStation system.
No, I don't even agree with that.
Really?
Yes, I think the PlayStation 5 is the ugliest PlayStation.
Nah.
I think it's ugly.
Nah, hey, dude. That's the way it looked at PS3 when it so fucking horrible. That being said, gotta be my least favorite PlayStation console.
This is gonna be interesting.
This is my least favorite console, PlayStation console.
Okay.
But I'm not giving it an F. I'm not giving it a D. Or a C. I'm gonna give it a B.
Mm-hmm.
Game library is so dope on that.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking Metal Gear game. When that Metal Gear came out,
Guns of the Patriots.
Was it Guns of the Patriots?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game was so beautiful, man. Chef's kiss, man. Yeah, I give it a B. BC range. I give you lower B for me, but definitely B. So dope. A lot of good games, man. That library is pretty good too, man. For the PS3. I'm trying to think of one solid what was it? Which was Grand Theft Auto came out for the 3?
Excuse me, Grand Theft Auto 4.
Was it 4?
5. And 5.
What One of the best Grand Theft Autos, right?
Yeah.
So Last of Us started out right there, yeah, in PS3.
Yeah.
You know, so I think a B is a respectable grade for it. My least favorite PlayStation console, you know, besides you know, everything else is above. So that's why I give it a B. And I think B is a good grade.
I
Mind you.
agree. I agree with a B.
Okay.
Personally, to me, it's better than a B, but I think all things weighted, it is a B, and here's why. When it first came out, they had a tremendously bad, terrible E3
Presentation.
Actually, I don't even remember if they announced the price at E3. It might have been at something else. But when they said it was going to be $600, they got booed off the stage. The games at first were not great. And Xbox, even with the Red Ring of Death, ran right past them, like full speed. That being said, everyone forgets this. Xbox had such a lead on PlayStation in terms of sales that PlayStation, by the end of the generation, actually caught back up to them and passed them, because the back half of the PlayStation 3's history, there were so many phenomenal first-party games from Sony. This is where, in my opinion, Sony started to define itself as like the first-party studio. I mean, you could argue that Nintendo is obviously too, but Sony just has way more top-tier studios and developers than Nintendo does. They just do at this point in time, at the PlayStation 3's point in time. I mean, I could go on forever. PlayStation 3, I understand clearly why most people would say it's their least favorite PlayStation. I get it. It is not my least favorite PlayStation. As a matter of fact, no,
five, right? It's a 5.
My least favorite PlayStation is probably, as of right now, is 5. 3 is my, well, I don't know. I don't know what's my least, but 3
It gotta be 3, bro.
Is arguably my second favorite PlayStation.
Really?
It really is, because I have so many PlayStation 3 games that I think are so phenomenal. And it's really like where I said, where Sony started to pull away from, it was the back half, but they really started to pull away from Xbox. And the next jump from in generation from PS3 to PS4 and Xbox 360 to Xbox One was, we'll get into it in a minute here, was so unbelievably massive that Microsoft has never recovered from to this day. We'll get into that in a minute. So I also put it as a B, probably right there.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Xbox 360, and I'll talk about it first.
It was so expensive at launch. Yeah.
The PlayStation 3 was way too expensive at launch. The Xbox 360, to me, is right there. And I honestly could go either way on this one. Like this. It depends kind of what day it is, but I think it's like this, where Xbox 360 had like the opposite of what the PlayStation 3 had for it in the beginning. It came out the gate strong with good games, even with the Red Ring of Death, which was a massive problem. I'm sure everybody remembers. Bricking the console. But they started, in my opinion, I don't know if they started getting too cocky, or they just didn't really, to me, support the 360 on the back half of the cycle, and they had their heads into the future, and they jumped too far into the future for their own good. And I just don't think, personally, taking away multi-platform games, like, games that are on both PlayStation and Xbox, because at this time most games that were on Xbox and PlayStation couldn't be on a Nintendo Wii or a Wii U even, and if they were bad ports. I just don't think Microsoft's first parties have ever come anywhere close to Sony's first party studios and games. I mean, nowhere freaking even close. And that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. Go ahead.
All right. All right.
But that being said, though, one last thing. I'm sorry. But it cannot be understated that the Xbox 360 is what took Microsoft not Microsoft, but took Xbox to a whole new level. You know, where they were arguably the top dog for a little while. Go ahead.
All right. 360 continued. Yeah, 2 years. All right. Xbox 360, hands down, is like my favorite Microsoft console. In the beginning with the Red Ring of Death, I had like 3 consoles that had like Red Ring of Deaths. You know, and everybody knows which ones they were. The white ones, right? The original white ones. When they started coming out with the black ones, the Elites, and the special editions with the Gears of War console, I bought that. The bigger hard drive and all that stuff. The library on the 360 was so fucking dope. Halo 3, arguably one of the best Halos. Came out on the Xbox 360. Gears of War. When that Gears of War first commercial dropped, that shit gave me goosebumps, bro. With that Mad World song and you see Marcus Phoenix running, and all that, it's so dope, man. It's just, to me, 360 for its time, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. I loved it. I miss it. It was good times for Microsoft. It was good times. I feel like right now the Xbox Series X is a very underrated, slept on console because it's a badass console. It's a dope ass console. Somewhere, like Josh said, Microsoft dropped the ball and just never recovered. But that being said, I'm gonna give it. Oh, shit, kid. It gotta be. All right, I'm gonna give it like a low A, B, high B. So, I got too many B's, man. Yeah, I guess you could leave it at B, I guess. But it's a high B for me, very high B. But yeah, man, 360 is just one of those consoles that I don't know. It's up there, man. One of the best consoles ever, man. You know what I mean? Playing wise, may not have done numbers like PS2 or the Switch, but it was it was number one at one point. It was number one at one point. So,
what does the chat say? Where do you guys think it goes?
Yeah, let us know what you think the 360 goes, man. I'm pretty sure I don't see much people talk about the Xbox 360, so I'm assuming it might be low for people in the chat.
All right, so I'm gonna pick next since you picked the PlayStation 3, which had to be followed by the Xbox, right?
Okay.
So if we're gonna go off of that, I think what?
I would like to give it an A, the 360, but
I know you do. I think what we need to talk about next, because it goes right along with these two, excuse me, is we have to talk about the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Okay.
So we'll start with the Xbox One. And in my opinion, the Xbox One is an F. An absolute F. They failed so unbelievably big. It not almost wrecked Microsoft, because you can't Microsoft, but they almost wrecked Xbox. And arguably, you could actually say that they did. Because that E3 conference in 2013 was revolutionary in a bad way for them, and in the greatest way for Sony. And if you guys have not watched that E3 press conference, it is hysterical in every way possible. So much so that the head of Xbox at the time, Don Matrick, left Xbox not long after that press conference, and Xbox had to literally take back about every announcement they said because they came out with a price point of $499. They wanted it to be your all one. That's why it's called the Xbox One, which they've always had a terrible naming scheme right from their Xbox 360. I don't know why they didn't just go Xbox 2, 3, 4. I mean, their naming scheme is the worst, the absolute worst.
Yeah, I remember people thought it was going to call the 720.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
the
'cause it was a
indie
360.
you heard, and blah 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 blah. But and they've continued on with the worst naming scheme following this one. They literally had no games on this console for like years. The only first party games that they developed for this were the same things that they've been developing since the year 2000, which is Halo. I mean, Gears of War wasn't 2000, and Forza. Those are the only 3 games that they could actually lay claim to, and they all went downhill, arguably, except Forza. When they came out, they announced that whole DRM thing where you couldn't share games with friends. I don't know if you remember that it had to be connected to the internet at all times. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal now, and this is where I'm saying they were too far ahead, thinking about what the time was. But the whole being connected to the internet was a big deal for a lot of people because, one, the internet connection wasn't steady for everybody, even in North America, and a lot of places in the world didn't have internet. That was a big, big deal. So, and this is the generation where Microsoft or Xbox stopped reporting their sales numbers on their consoles because PlayStation had gone so far ahead of them that they were embarrassed, and that the only numbers that we have on this and actually the Xbox Series X and S is from estimated sales numbers. It's not from them reporting their own sales numbers. And we'll talk about the sales numbers in a little bit when we talk about the PS4. Go ahead, Mike.
Didn't have an issue with the Xbox One. You can say whatever you want with Microsoft. You can say what you want with Sony. You can say what you want about Nintendo. You can say about whatever you want. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, they're the top 3, right? They're the top 3, in no matter what order. People may say PlayStation number 1. Some people may say Nintendo number 1. But no matter what, Xbox is top 3, right? It's just a damn shame how things are now.
Mm-hmm.
And even from between, because what year did this came out? Did this come out 2015?
2013.
13? Okay, 13.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I put time on my Xbox One. And originally it was supposed to be it was called Project Scorpio, right? The prototype.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty good. It was a good.
They should have went with that name over Xbox One.
Yeah. Even the 720, even though it's just so stupid, but 720 is a lot better than the one. Anyway, I thought this console was pretty good, man. I thought it was good. The numbers didn't do good. Obviously the selling, Sony outsold. And again, man, I don't know what it is. The console itself that Microsoft pull out in all the systems are fucking amazing, man. They're dope. They're good. I just don't know why it doesn't work for them, like selling wise. I've owned all the Microsoft consoles, and Xbox One is my least memorable one. I like I said though, I enjoyed the Gears of War that came out in the games. I think it was Gears 4. I think it was Gears of War 4 that came out. Was awesome. I put time on that. Halo sucked on that one. I did not like Halo. Halo was already on the downfall. I think they sold Bungie and all that stuff. And like Josh said, man, when it comes to the first parties, man, Sony has it, Nintendo has it on Smash. You know, those two have their own Spanish.
Xbox can't even buy first-party studios and keep them relevant.
And believe it or not, you know, right now, them having what is it, Activision? It's kind of like it's saving them, helping them. You know,
is it though?
It is
that and Bethesda. Is it though?
No, it is because from me reading it, Black Ops when it came out, Game Pass sales on Xbox went way up.
Okay,
you know,
fine.
No, but I'm talking. This is what I'm saying about Activision. You know what I'm saying? So that's the bright side I see. You know, and you know, it's good that, you know, you have competition and stuff like that. Even though, you know, it's not really much what it is now. But now we're talking about Xbox One when it came out. Microsoft wasn't doing so very well. You know what I mean? It was not. It was very kind of embarrassing. Not embarrassing, but like it's like
Xbox One was embarrassing.
Sony was more like they had the rights to talk shit, and they well deserved. You know what I mean? It's just Microsoft after 360 they couldn't do it, man. They couldn't do it. Could not do it.
It was a reversal of fortune or fate or whatever you want to say, where PlayStation was so cocky after how good PlayStation 2 did that they thought they could do anything with PlayStation 3, including launching at a price that no one was going to be happy with. But they didn't care because they were cocky. And Xbox did the same thing with Xbox One. And PlayStation had to eat crow for a while, had to make up.
But you know something? Regardless of what it did, it sold.
It sold approximately, and this is from estimations, approximately 58 million units.
And that may not be nothing, but that's not bad.
It's not bad. But do you know what the PlayStation 4 sold?
I mean, I'm pretty sure way more than that. But by the time you said it yourself when the presentation came up for this shit or whatever, it was lavish stock. It was a joke. It was over
the that they announced those consoles. The PlayStation 4 sold, and it's not over yet, obviously, because they're still selling PlayStation 4s. They discontinued the Xbox One. PlayStation 4 currently, well, according to this, and I don't even know when this was last updated, so it could be past this. I think it might be, is at 117 million.
Okay.
PlayStation 4 sold. PlayStation 4 hit it out of the park when they followed up the Xbox E3 conference, and literally their press conference was basically, in a nutshell, everything that you just heard from Xbox that you don't like, we're doing the opposite of that. Where we're launching at $100 less. We're launching with a shit ton of, well, the launch didn't have a lot of games, but there was a lot of good games to quickly come, and first-party games, like stellar ones. All the multi-platform games were mostly played on PlayStation consoles, which the PlayStation 4 generation has some of the greatest games ever. Right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation has some of the greatest games ever. Ever.
Xbox One?
What I'm saying is the generation of those consoles. Some of the games in those consoles are some of the, like Witcher 3 is one of the greatest games of all time.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the greatest games of all time. Last of Us, well, I mean, that launched at the back on PS3 at the, you know, it is one of those. Same thing with GTA 5, where it's like it's right on the edge of PS3 and PS4. GTA 5 was really a PS4 game, and an Xbox One game. But there's so many. The new God of War game, you know. Yeah, no. What's lies, Eli? Eli, I saw that you said the PS4 is an Xbox One is an F. There is no fucking way that the PS4 is an F. Not even fucking close.
You know what? Xbox One to me is not an F.
That's fine. In history, the Xbox One is an absolute F.
No, I know, but well, I guess that was to you, you know, but
no, not just to me.
Nope, they go in F. Both of them, they have.
No.
I don't think. Listen, I don't think Xbox One goes in the F.
Eli's opinion doesn't count because he just likes weird fucking shit that like nobody likes, and he's always gonna take the weirdest fucking aspect. The 3DO and the Neo Geo were the best.
He's a Microsoft guy, I guess. You know, I don't know. What's the other consoles that you have on the F here?
The PlayStation TV and the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, nah. You can't compare a fucking Xbox One
I'll put that there
to a Virtual Boy. You cannot. No, don't do that.
I'm saying it's better.
So it got to be the D. I'll give you a D. I'll give you a D. That's the lowest I go, man. PS4 is.
I'll put it at E to compromise.
To an A minus. PS4 definitely is top 3. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah.
Boston Chris is right. To me, a PS4 is an A. It's an A.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You can't even argue with it. Whether you're
I'm agreeing with you. I'll give you that.
No. I'm not saying you can't. You personally can't argue with it. Eli, you can't argue with it.
You know what? It was an expensive console though, Boston Chris. Neo Geo's. I couldn't really enjoy it to give it a grade, but from what I remember, the certain games that I played, I enjoyed it, man. What was it? Final Fury or one of them games, SNK games.
But again, guys, this isn't just ranking things based on.
DDO was awful.
Yeah, like what? It's not just based on how good it was to you. It's that's part of it. It's based on how good it was to everybody, where it sold,
ridiculous,
that kind of shit. Dude, the 3DO. I think it was the 3DO. No, it wasn't. Was it the? Yeah, I think it was the 3DO. One of them launched at like $1,000.
Damn. That's just crazy. All right, we're moving on, man. We're moving on.
The PlayStation 4, and I'm kidding, by the way. Obviously, Eli's opinion matters. Everyone's opinion matters. Where's the PlayStation 4? Why can't I not find it?
Because you probably already ranked it.
No, I didn't.
Uh-huh.
Right here. We'll just use the regular. Well, we'll use the Pro version. That's probably the one. It's an A to me. To me, it's greater than. It's got a greater library than the original PlayStation and the original Xbox. To me, that might be too wild for some people. But
all right, now can we say that we can also grade the Switch with this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because honestly speaking, they came out at the same time, right?
The Switch came out a year later.
Yeah, well, kind of the same, right?
Yeah. They're in the same generation, although hardware-wise, Nintendo is like always a generation behind in terms of hardware.
Yeah, and you listen, man. You're not gonna get the best graphics on the Switch and Nintendo. No. You know what I mean? But
that's not what it's about.
It's not exactly.
Not what it's all about, I should say.
So yeah, I guess we could talk about the Switch now. Switch right now, honestly speaking, it's a dope ass console.
Yep,
it's so dope. The fact that it's a handheld / home console that sold me. That sold me. That sold me right there. Then the fact you could attach the shit to the dock, watch that shit HD, the 1080p, whatever the 4K, whatever the hell you have your TV on, and then you can take it on the go. That's just fucking dope. That's just awesome. The game library, nostalgically, is awesome. The first party games, the Marios, and yeah, honestly speaking, I know that Sony and Xbox, they were going at it head to head, but Nintendo held its own since day one, and I'm gonna give the Switch. Honestly speaking, I'm gonna give it S.
It is an S.
I'm gonna give it S.
It is an S.
It's a very entertaining, fun system. I love it. I like the fact that you can put the Pro Controller is so dope too. I don't know if you have a Pro Controller. You have a Pro Controller?
I have one. Yeah.
Shit is awesome. I like the controller. It feels good. Feels great. The freaking the fucking library one, the where you can play all the NES and all that stuff.
Nintendo Classics.
What? Dude, yeah. I love it when every time I think it's like every month they give you like a new game and this came out or whatever. And I think this month was Tetris or whatever. I don't know the original Tetris, and I like it. And then I just give it an S, man. Nintendo Switch is awesome. I know a lot of people will be modding the original first versions of Switch, and they say is an awesome piece when you mod it. Obviously you can't upgrade it when you mod it, and I just love it. I love it, and I think a S is hands down what everybody in the chat and then what us over here say. Switch puts Nintendo in a tough spot going forward. How do you improve on it? You have to make partially in high quality. That's what I think they're gonna. I think the graphics and everything, the hardware is gonna be boosted up on the Switch.
I hope so too, because I think people are ready. Nintendo always likes to keep it at like a low price point, but I think, or I hope that they finally realize that people will pay a price to have better tech in there.
I heard supposedly the rumors is going to be 400.
I mean, I would pay more for it than that if they upped it. And if they don't call this thing the Super Switch, then
they missed.
I mean, you weren't talking about fucking missing the boat.
Yeah, I DM'd you the leak.
Yeah, I saw that a couple days ago. Yeah, I mean, it looks almost exactly the same, and it should. Yeah. The only thing that they need to do, honestly, is just put better hardware into the thing. Yeah. I mean, the thing is 10 years old. 10.
And it still holds up.
Yeah, it still holds up, though, but it still holds up, but it can't run like the big games. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because most people who are video game players usually have a PlayStation and a Switch, or an Xbox and a Switch, or all three, obviously. You know what I mean? Like your Sony or your Microsoft is your main console, and your Switch is your other console that, you play all the fun games from that don't need, high graphics or, a lot of retro games and stuff like that. And that's great. Taking it on the go and being a home console, obviously revolutionary. It's sold ridiculous. What are the sales numbers that I have currently for it? And again, I don't know when this thing was last updated, so I could be going off something old. It's, according to this list, it's at 146 million units sold.
Incredible.
So you can't argue with it. It's an S. I mean, the only thing they need to do really is make better games and be able to get, these bigger games that go on Sony and Microsoft's consoles.
And honestly, Nintendo, they hear the people, you know what I'm saying? But they take their time. You know what I mean? Because when originally the Switch came out, it was dope. Whatever. I wish it came out, in the OLED. Whatever. They gave you an OLED for it. You know what I mean? Better graphics and better screen and whatever, high quality screen, I should say. And it's just, it's awesome. It's what we need now. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what's next. For Nintendo.
It is awesome, but if they don't do a serious hardware upgrade on this next one, they're not going to get a pass on it, because there are a bunch of games like Mortal Kombat 1. Not that that's a great game. Go look at the videos.
I heard it wasn't so good in the Switch.
So it wasn't so good. It's hysterically bad. Yeah. Hysterically bad.
Certain games, like the Marvel vs. Capcom edition that came out. It came out only for the PS4 and Switch. I heard it played better on the Switch than it did the PS4. So certain games, you would think, Nintendo, like games like that will, be okay on it.
What they should do, which they won't do, and I don't think they would ever do, but maybe I'm wrong. They should have out the gate, and I don't know how hard this would be for them to do, but to do something like how the PlayStation and the PlayStation Pro does, where you have a lesser version and then a higher version, but it needs to be more substantial than that, where it's like we have a base Switch for 400, but then we have this Switch at 800, and it's 800 for a reason, because the battery life, and you're able to play games that you can play on Microsoft and Sony platforms, although they won't be able to do that for several reasons. You're not going to have you can play this game on Switch Pro, but you can't play this game on Switch. They'll never go that far, but they should, or they should just come out and be like, look, guys, You guys want a handheld with a lot of battery life, with graphics, with an OLED screen, it's going to be $600-700. It is what it is. And I think most people would probably not have a problem with that. I really don't think so. They wouldn't.
I don't know. Whatever Nintendo decides to do, listen, it's been working for them since day one, right? Since day one, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, with the 64, with the GameCube, all of them has been awesome consoles, successful consoles. You could say arguably maybe the GameCube, but that's
no. There's another one. There's another one we haven't gotten to yet.
Or the Wii U, because the Wii did sell. That was a very successful one.
Yeah, but we'll get to that because that's also, to me, that's interesting in another way.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we could talk about it now if you want, man. We could bring it up. So the Nintendo Switch is ass.
Yeah.
Get that. Moving on. All right. So let's bring up some Wii's and Wii U's.
Okay. So we'll start moving a little faster through this because it's 10 o'clock. So the Wii, to me, right? Obviously, its place in history is massive. I mean, you had old people buying this shit for the motion, the nunchuck, and
sports, and Wii Sports, bowling, and all that shit. Yeah.
I have a couple fond memories of the Wii. It's actually believe it or not, like the first console that kind of got me back into gaming after a little time away, like during college and stuff, and right after. There are some great games for it. Mario Galaxy. I know a lot of people don't like Twilight Princess, but Twilight Princess is arguably my favorite Zelda game of all time, arguably. But there were so many bad games, and this is when Nintendo really start to fall behind in terms of their hardware and how Sony and Microsoft were so far ahead of them, and the ports, like the Call of Duty port on Wii was terrible. Like the Switch is one of these weird things where I don't know where to put it, and I'm interested to see what the chat has to say.
So the Wii.
The Wii, I'm sorry. Where it's like history and sales say it's an S. Right?
I don't put it as an S.
I don't put it as an S. I would probably put it down here personally, maybe on the line of a C to a B. Maybe.
I was going to give it a B.
And that's only, I don't even really know if I can give it a B. To me personally, there are a bunch of good games for it. There's no doubt.
The marketing on this alone was crazy. The marketing on this. Every commercial where people were showing people with the Wii remote and all that shit made everybody want to buy a Wii, man. They did great marketing on the Wii, and it sold. It did good. We'll talk to Wii U next, but I could say a B. Just the fact that Nintendo did market. Nintendo always have good marketing when it comes to this shit, and Wii's were one of those examples. Even though I agree with Josh, the library on the Wii was kind of.
It had some great games, but not many.
No,
not many.
So
I'll put it there just for kind of posterity and sales and how it changed. Like,
yeah, it brought families together. Okay,
like dynamics. It brought families together. But like they had this stuff in like retirement homes. And,
yeah.
With that Wii Sports stuff. So.
Yeah,
I'll put it there, but that's one of the weird ones. Wii U, where is it?
To me, hold on. Before I even grade the Wii U, I think is a dope ass console. I think it's dope, but go ahead.
So this is another weird one where it's like, where the hell is it?
I don't know where you have it. It's too small, bro. Pause.
Nintendo. Oh, right here. I waited and I wasn't going to get this console on launch. And then at the last minute, I went down to Walmart to wait for it. And I was like the second person in line at a Walmart. And I don't go to Walmart for video game releases, but I managed to get one on release. Wii U had good ideas, but again, it didn't see them through properly. It was never supported. I mean, I think Nintendo knew they failed immediately. But this is going to be one of those consoles where if you have one, I have a feeling it's going to be worth a lot of money one day, because I think they only sold like 13 million or hang on, let me check that real quick. It's something like stupid low for Nintendo in the modern age. It's bad.
Well, he's looking that up.
13.56 million units sold. It's I don't know if I can give it an F, but it's like right here. It's certainly no higher than that.
Yeah. What is that? A, B, C, D. I'll give it a D. I give the Wii U a D. You know what it is? It was rushed. The Wii U was rushed.
It was a terrible name too.
It was rushed. And to me, the Wii U is like a prototype of the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Because
in a way, yeah.
In a way, it is. It was like a test out for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wii U. I mean, the Wii was okay. You know, you can start seeing it start going down a little bit. Like, nah, it's all about PS4. It's all about this. It's all about that. And then the Wii U just tanked, right? Nintendo was almost gone.
Dude, that's a great point. I remember when the Wii, dude, people were thinking like, this is it for Nintendo.
Yes.
But people forget that Nintendo has a good amount of money, and they came back so strong that a lot of people were not thinking they could, because their hardware was on such a decline, and the distance between them and Sony and Microsoft was becoming so big.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought it was over for them.
Yeah,
Like
the crazy part. Yeah.
Sorry, like so much so where they're like, Nintendo is gonna start just making games and putting them on Sony and Microsoft platforms,
doing like what Sega did, basically.
Yeah.
Yo, but yeah. So like I was saying, like the Wii U, it just it tanked. You know, Nintendo was really they were ready to shut doors and all that. You know, I don't know what it was, but like I said, it was a prototype of the Switch, right? I don't know what it was. Who came up with the idea? And mind you, the Switch, like we said, man, it's not a PS5. It's not a PS, you know, an Xbox Series X, like with the graphics. It's like a PS4. You know what I mean? You could give it like a PS4 type feel. You know what I mean? If that, maybe less. But regardless, like they didn't boost up their hardware. That's what I'm trying to say. And it just fucking came out the fucking. It rose, it did some, it rose from the grave, bro. You know, like the Wii, the Nintendo, I should say. Switch saved them, you know what I mean? But the Wii U, I feel like for the Switch to exist, you had to go through that.
Yeah,
you had to go through the Wii U. Because, you know, like I said, it was, to me, I feel like the Wii U was a prototype of the Switch, of what, you know, what it is, the handheld, and you playing with the, you know, with that big ass shit, you know, the screen.
But you could also play with the Wii nunchucks with the
that
Wii
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. That's exactly what it was. It's like we don't know what the idea is yet, but we think we do. Yeah. You know, it was a prototype. It really was what it was.
So honestly speaking,
you own one?
I never owned one. My brother had one. I wanted one. I want one to this day. I want one because
I have one. I maybe played it 8 times or something like that. Maybe.
Okay. So you still in the box?
Yeah, I still have it in the box. Yeah.
But yeah, to me, I'm gonna give the Wii U. What I said before. I give it a D. I wouldn't give it an F. I wouldn't give it an E. I give it a D.
What do people in the chat say? I know Eli said F. I mean, most people are probably going to give it an F. I mean, and it's hard to argue that it isn't.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the $1,000 console, the Philips CDI. That was the $1,000 console.
Shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's wrap. Let's see. Let's pick a handful. What we definitely. I want to talk about Nintendo. And yeah. What else? Let's just pick a couple more, and that's it. But
All right. Let's see. Well, we could talk about. Well, real quick, I mean, and I don't even think this has to be argued. I think probably, even though it's not a console, so I'm not going to rank it ahead of anything, but it definitely goes in S, which is computer gaming.
That's like not even fair. That's
I understand that. That's why it goes at the back of the line, but it's obviously I mean, one could make an argument it's the greatest console.
Yeah,
even
of
if it's not a
course.
console.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X.
Okay, we could do that. All right, the last three, I guess, right? Because I want to do the NES
Oh, right. Okay.
or the.
Um,
But I feel
yeah.
like we need to match the NES with something. What was Genesis? No, not even Genesis.
No,
We can't match with nothing.
yeah.
It's his own thing. So we'll just leave it last.
So
Let's see what's on now, and let's see the good one right now. The PlayStation.
we'll leave the NES for last.
All right,
We'll leave the first for last, right?
Okay.
Because I mean, we could talk about like the Game Boy Advanced and the 3DS, but like to me, all the Game Boys are really it's just this.
Yeah.
I think it's just A, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, I'm gonna say the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, right? We're still in the middle of it. I don't think either one of them has a good game library. I really don't.
We're talking about the console, though, right?
Yeah, we are, but I mean, it's not just about what the console does in terms of horsepower or anything like that. Obviously, Sony has more games than Xbox, but not a lot on this console. It's not really anything. I think this is a C, in my opinion. And wow. I think, yeah, I really do. And I think the Xbox Series X is a D.
Well,
and those are also, you know, we're not even through the generation, but right now, I mean, putting aside, yeah, they're obviously the best in terms of graphics in comparing to any other console. I mean, obviously. But it's just like, where are the games kind of for both of them? I mean, there's a couple of good ones, but neither one of them, to me, really pulls apart from the other. Now, in terms of sales, the PlayStation 5 is way ahead of the Xbox again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's because of what, you know, since fucking after the 360.
Yeah.
Microsoft can't, you know, recoup, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to find a system that the Nintendo did, you know, after the Wii U, you know, they need to find that, the formula. But, you know what, man, I feel like it's a little too low, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But at the same time, like, you make a good point. It's like they're a little bit too, like, they're current.
Yeah, you know I just don't know where they stand yet. You know what I mean? That's current right now where, I mean, there's a couple good games, but they're on both.
Nah, PS5, yo, they got some hitters, man. They got Spider-Man 2, awesome game. One of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Right now, what is it? God of War Ragnarok, awesome.
Which I don't think is better than the first God of War.
I'm just saying, like
I'm not saying it doesn't have games. Yeah. It does, but I just don't. There's nothing that's like.
Excuse me.
That's like, oh my god, you know, like revolutionary yet. And I'm not talking in terms of like. There's no Last of Us. There's no Red Dead Redemption. There's no Halo. There's no.
I mean, Spider-Man 2, I feel like is one of those games, though.
No, it's not, though.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not. It's not a system.
Yeah, Astro Boy.
Yeah, again, good game. Does it move systems?
I mean, it is moving systems. PS5 is moving, bro.
Yeah, but PS5 is just moving because it's PS5. It's not moving because of Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Like not many people, I'm not saying there aren't any, but excuse me, nobody's going out and be like, I got to get a PlayStation so I can get Astro Boy.
No, but I did say I need to get a PlayStation so I can play Spider-Man 2, Ragnarok.
Okay, again, yes, but is it a tremendous amount? It's not like Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man game, which I would argue.
The only way you can play Spider-Man, right?
Correct.
To buy PlayStation.
But what I'm saying is, with PlayStation 4, I need this to play Spider-Man 1 because it was the first one. I need this to play the new God of War because it's not the first one, but the first one in the new line. And I mean, God of War, the reboot, is better than Ragnarok, and that's not even. I don't even think that's an opinion. I think that's a fact. And the first Spider-Man game, while I don't know if it's better per se, it had more of an impact than the second one did.
I appreciate it, and I'm really fucking with these new consoles, PS5. I mean, the Xbox Series too. Xbox Series, you know, say what you want, number wise, sale wise, of course, but the console itself, if you have an Xbox Series X, in the chat, you know what I'm talking about, man. Like the hardware in there, the system is so smooth. You can run I could run like 5 games at the same time, pause it, go to the next game, and pick up where I left off. I can't do that with a PS5. You know what I mean? And not know that people may be interested, but it's just that option, just the option to have, right? To do that, I think this is remarkable as a system, And will Microsoft ever recoup? Don't know, don't care, because right now it's like,
nope. I don't think they want to.
It's like it's like you scratching your head. What are they doing? Like, what are they doing?
I don't. They have bad leadership. Number one, they're putting. Pretty soon, they're going to be putting all their first-party games.
I'm excited. I saw the one game, and me being biased. Now I'm being biased. It's because of Gears of War. That is my favorite game. One of my favorite games. I seen that. I'm like, okay, I got to see this. What's this about? What's this about? I'm excited for that. That's like the only game that I'm excited for the Xbox. Other than that, I could care less.
And I can appreciate that, but most people aren't, though. That's the thing. I mean, Gears of War has run its course. And that's the thing that Xbox has never learned. It's like, you guys you don't let your studios go on to new things. You keep having them.
It's not even that. They sell the studios, bro. Sometimes.
Well, to me, they can't even buy studios. They buy studios at the wrong time. Bethesda is on the decline. I'm sorry. They are. Activision is also on the decline other than Call of Duty, which Call of Duty will always be relevant.
It will always be.
It almost doesn't count. I mean, I hate to say that because obviously it counts, but other than that, everything else they do is on the decline. Nobody like Diablo.
And from what I was seeing or whatever, obviously, Microsoft, they own Activision or whatever, and them still making games for Switch and PS5 and keep continuing. That's smart for them to do.
But why buy it then?
I mean, they trying to get some money out of it, right?
Yeah, but they overpaid, and everyone knows they ridiculously overpaid for them and Bethesda.
Listen.
Not that it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I was gonna say Microsoft got fuck you money.
But the goal is still to make money, more money than you spent on.
In the long run, I think eventually they'll make their money.
The only thing that
you said to yourself, Call of Duty ain't going nowhere, bro.
No, it's not. It's not. But still, that doesn't make up for what did they buy Activision for? Like $58 billion or something like that? Wasn't it some stupid number like that? And I think Bethesda was $2 billion.
Yeah.
I could be off on those numbers, but it's something stupid. Where everyone was like, you overpaid.
Yeah, like that being said though, like I honestly feel like we shouldn't even. I feel like I can't rank them at all. If you want to keep it there, you can keep it there. But they currently is like you said, their library is not.
Honestly,
enough.
I think the best game for both of these systems is on both of them, which is Elden Ring.
Okay.
I think Elden Ring is the best game.
I haven't played
on
it.
Both of these systems. You won't like it.
I haven't played it, but I mean. PS5 is an awesome system. I enjoy PS5. That's because everybody that I play with, they got a PS5. They don't have an Xbox. But the good part, and I love it now that now you can cross-play, also too.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's awesome, man. Who would have thought? I would never thought that,
See, PS5 is a great system for people who haven't experienced a lot of PS4 games. And they can go back and now either play them because they've been remastered, or you can just play them because it's backwards compatible. Xbox Series X is not a good system to go back and enjoy all the games from Xbox One because there weren't any. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think the PlayStation 5 is not the only one.
Yeah, but going back, I had a point. You cut me off. The PS5, it's kind of like it's right in the coattails from PS4.
Oh, of course. I think they're starting to lose it a little bit. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think they are going to lose it though, Josh. I feel like somehow, some way, they're getting cocky, like you said. Remember before with the presentation? What was it? A few months ago, or whatever they came out with, and they were a little bit. They sounded like, all right, we're the hot shit. We're gonna with the pro, right? With the pro, raise this shit up like $1,000,
and people still bought it.
And people still bought it. We talked about that. We knew it was gonna happen. People was gonna still buy it. You know?
Yeah, but the thing is,
move, yes, it was a stupid move, but smart from Sony because they're making their money.
Okay, fine, but I'm starting to see them slip on their first party. You know, their Sean Layden is gone now, and Mark Ryan is also gone. And I think they've got the wrong people in charge where they're putting money into games like Concord. That was a massive failure, and they fucking canceled the game 2 weeks after it came out.
Okay.
And put $400 million into the thing.
But Sony
not including the.
But Sony can do that.
No, but they can't though. They don't have
Sony can't. You know why they can do that? Because they're number one.
Yeah, they're number one, but they don't have anywhere close to Microsoft money.
No, they don't.
They can't take $400 million losses. They're number one, but they don't have stupid money.
But honestly speaking, when it comes to those first party games, some of them they're hit or miss. And right now, Astro Boy first party game.
I don't think Sony first parties are hit or miss. They're mostly hit.
I know I'm talking about now. When you talk about the Concord game and stuff like that, you say they tanked.
That's their really only miss.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, don't go off of that and think it. I think Sony's gonna be. They're gonna be steady. They're gonna be good.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is looking at the future, right? Where what do they have announced? And it's not really much of anything. The new Naughty Dog game, they just announced it. Now, I like Naughty Dog games, but they're a pretty woke company, which a lot of people don't like. I'm telling you, not that I don't know if you saw at the Video Game Awards what their new game Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
No.
I think Intergalactic as of right now is not the greatest catchy name. It could be because Uncharted doesn't sound like the catchiest name either, but it is. Now Naughty Dog gets the benefit of the doubt because everything they've done has been fantastic for the most part.
No.
But I'll tell you this, looking at that trailer, I'm not excited about it. There's not much to go off of, but it's the only new game that they've done where they've shown a trailer and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to give them game-wise, the only thing that I hear that I want to get and I'm interested is that the other Insomniac game that's coming out, Wolverine, right? I'm interested to see that.
Sure.
But besides that,
what else have they announced, though?
What else they announced? They announced a portable.
What?
They're coming out with a portable system.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that. But what I'm saying is, what have they announced in terms of first-party games?
Oh, first-party games.
Oh, here's another one I forgot is, what is it? Ghost of Yotai. That's the other one that is announced. The Ghost of Tsushima.
2.
Yeah, 2. It's Ghost of Yotai, which again, it looks phenomenal. It does. The graphics look insane.
Yeah.
But where's Sony Santa Monica's?
You know what? Everybody's waiting for the
where's Gorilla?
GTA 6.
That is true. People don't want to go around that game. They don't.
And they're not.
No, they're not. All right, let's wrap this up. So we got Nintendo. Well, I think really the PSP. I think the PSP.
PSP got to be like an A.
Yeah, I can't put it above the Game Boy, but it was a big deal.
It was.
It was a big deal.
It was.
When it came out, and the Vita should have been this again, but it just didn't.
They tanked. The marketing for the PSP was fucking good.
Oh, it was awesome.
The
and it had games.
Sucked. Yeah, and it had good games. Yeah, it did.
The Grand Theft Auto
movies too. All that shit. That shit was dope, man.
Yeah, the UMDs.
Yeah, those are dope. So I agree. I agree with A.
The Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. No, that was Game Boy. Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories sold that alone. All right. So last thing we could talk about is what? The NES?
Yeah,
which
NES.
Biggs actually texted me. He says it's a D.
Hey, yeah, D for dumb. Come
Yeah.
on, Biggs. Come on. Yeah, it's got to be up there, man. It's got to be up there. Uh, if not an S, I'll give it like an S to A. I give it that because
Where
just
do you put it? It's
like
not ahead of the Super Nintendo.
no, it's not ahead of the Super
Is
Nintendo.
it ahead of the PlayStation 2? It is to me.
Okay, so we could go there. We could keep it there. All right. NES. This is honestly speaking like everybody's nostalgia. If you're around our age, like you remember, I remember me opening my shit and having my shit. Yeah, it was just amazing. Like I had.
Did you have the Robbie the Robot?
I didn't ever had the Robbie the Robot. I had the challenge set. That's what I. What's the challenge set? The NES challenge set?
The pad?
No, it came with the Duck Hunt Mario.
Oh yeah, right. The orange gun or the gray one?
The orange zapper. The orange zapper. I have a gray zapper now, but originally my one. Don't listen to Josh. I give it an A. That's good, you know. But S, I give it an S. S is definitely it has to be. And S. Super Mario Brothers was freaking. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers is one of my favorite games. You know, in the NES. The fact that it was two players, me and my brother playing. Definitely, I was older brother, so I was Mario. He was Luigi, always. You know,
Luigi jumps higher.
And other games like
Super Mario 3.
Super Mario 3, arguably one of the best Super Mario games. Arguably, mine's still Super Mario World.
I would say it's arguably one of the best games of all time.
Yeah. And my first Super Mario game, believe it or not, that I beat was Super Mario 2.
Yeah, which God, I hated it.
Yo, believe it or not, I loved it though. I loved it,
dude. It had a cult following to it.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Zelda and Zelda 2. How most people think Zelda 2 is so bad, but then you have like this cult following who will say like Zelda 2 is the best Zelda ever. I am not one of those people.
I think the original Legend of Zelda is the best one. Are the NES console made video games mainstream? I'm not understanding.
What does that mean?
Break it down, Biggs. Let us know. But yeah, man, I'm gonna give it the library on the NES, like no other. The graphics on the games,
Mega Man
2 is the best Mega Man. Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3. I think I go back to the soundtrack on Mega Man 2. Go back to that shit. The intro when you're about to play Mega Man 2. Tell me you don't get hyped up. Go back and listen to that shit. Tell me if you don't get hyped up, yo. That shit is awesome. Mega Man 2 is one of my favorite. Me and my son, we got the Mega Man collection. And so far we beat Mega Man 1, 2, 3, and 4. We up to 5. And mind you, this is with the rewind, because with the Switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cheating, man.
Yeah, it is cheating, but it counts because once you beat the game, they give you like an award, not an award, like a stamp, like you beat, like a Mega Man head, like you beat this one or whatever, which is pretty cool, You know what
I always thought was cool is if I would ever get a dog, I would name it Rush.
I would have. That's a good name. That's a good name for a dog, man. Yeah, NES definitely got to be an S. No, come on, man. Nobody disagreed with us in the chat.
The original Metal Gear. I don't think there's anybody left in the chat except Biggs.
Let me read what Biggs said here. He said the NES made video games mainstream, meaning for many of us that assistant started the fascination with video games.
That assistant? What assistant? You have your own assistant?
Freaking autotypes. yeah. I think
Man, Biggs got crazy money. He had an assistant at age 10.
Video games mainstream. Yes. Yo, dude. You know what? What was that shit? I always wanted to go to those. Remember the movie The Wiz? The Wizard or the Wizard? I think it was the Wizard. The Wizard is that Michael Jackson. Wizard of Oz thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, this is skip assistant. That was a typo. Oh, skip assistant. Okay. All right, let's see what you said. Let's try to read this. Let's skip assistant, guys. All right. The NES made video games mainstream, meaning for many of us that started the fascination with video games. Sounds a lot better, Big. Sounds a lot better.
We need a Biggs translator.
You know what? I agree with you, Biggs. I agree with you. But then again, like Nintendo had no competition then.
They didn't.
No competition. Atari, no, forget about it. That was no competition for them. They were their own competition. They had to create. They come out with Game Boy, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I give you that. Definitely mainstream. But the Wizard, man, when those challenges, when you rush in the Wizard, what the fucking, we had to beat everything like at a certain time or whatever. The World Series or some shit. That was awesome, man. That movie.
World Championships.
The World Championships. There you go. Excuse me. I'm the new Gomez.
Remember track and field with the power pad?
Track and field was awesome. The most expensive NES game is Stadium Events.
Yeah. Peanut had one, and then his brother.
No way.
He did, and then his brother robbed him of everything that he owned and sold it for like $40.
What?
Yeah, sold not Stadium Events, sold everything. I mean, I think Peanuts told you the story before.
No, he didn't.
Like sold his furniture, sold all his games, sold
for
everything.
Fucking dollars.
Well, according to Peanut, for $40. I'm sure it was more than that, but you never know.
What a come up. What a come up.
Dude, he's like, he sold my couches because Peanut was gone for like a month or something, working or something. He sold like everything in his house.
Damn,
like,
I wish I knew fucking Peanut's brother.
I think he even said like the sheets on his bed and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to know, was it CIB? Was it complete in box, the Stadium Events? Because
I don't remember.
You're talking about 5 figures.
Yeah. He didn't kill him either, which I don't know why he didn't. It's hard getting answers out of Peanut sometimes, He's like, yeah, but he took everything, like literally everything I owned.
Gyroscopic game. What gyroscopic game was that?
Gyroscopic.
A whole contraption that you had to balance a spinning gyro.
Gyro.
Some people say gyro though. When they order pizzas, when they go to pizzeria, they get a gyro. I'm like, why you say gyro? Is that gyro, bro?
Yeah, it's actually not. It's actually a euro, but okay.
Yeah, well, we call it gyros.
Yeah, and that's a gyro.
Yeah,
a spinning gyro.
What game is that though?
I don't know. Remember Marble Madness?
Marble Madness. I remember Marble Madness.
Remember Bubble Bobble?
RC Pro-Am?
Yeah. Remember Off Road? Off Road was the shit.
Off Road was dope.
It was better in the arcade, but remember Bubble Bobble?
Bubble Bobble.
Yeah.
I remember Bubble Bobble 2.
I don't think I ever played Bubble Bobble 2.
It's expensive too. A lot of good games there, man. The box, like I said before, the box arts on those shits was dope. Double Dragon, awesome. Double Dragon 2, better. Let's see. Let's see what Big said. Double Dribble was whack. RBI Baseball was dope. Tecmo Bowl was awesome. Double Dragon was dope. Ninja Gaiden was awesome.
How about this one?
Contra.
How about Mike Tyson's Punch Out? Obviously. How about this one? Blades of Steel.
Oof. Blades of Steel was awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
That's the first one you could fight, right?
Yeah.
Contra was awesome. Excite Bike, Bad Dudes was awesome. Blaster Master, not too much of a fan of Blaster Master.
Me neither. Oh, you know what was an awesome game? Jackal.
I had that. I have that game, Jackal.
That's a good game.
Yeah. And the original, I don't know if y'all played the original Metal Gear. That was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. There was only one game that you could play with it. Oh, okay. All right. Gotta figure out what the Tetris. I kind of enjoyed Tetris more on the Game Boy.
Game Boy. That was a Game Boy game, man.
Yeah.
That was a Game Boy game.
But I heard Tetris 2 is a lot better than one on the NES.
Maybe, but Tetris will forever be a Game Boy game to me.
Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, man, that's what we got, man. I mean, we could have gone on more, but we're already 2.5 hours already.
Yeah, not really. I mean, if you really wanted to, which I don't have it in me, but like, you got to break down like the 2DS, the 3. Yeah. I mean, you're just talking about a bunch of different Game Boys.
Yeah, it's all good, man. But yeah, man, we just did the ones that is worth talking about.
Yep.
I'm sure people don't want to grade a fucking what was it they said the Atari Lynx.
Yeah, but we talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah, no, but people was talking about in the chat. Original Russian game. What the fuck was it? It was called.
Tetris.
Oh no, I thought you talking about the army game. It was fuck. What was it, man?
Army game.
Yeah, it was like an army game. What was I saying before? Damn, I lost my train of thought, bro. The beginning, what we was talking about. Everybody said it was a the links. There you go. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, it was trash. Everybody give it F. And yeah. So guys, that definitely, man. This is what Josh was wanting to do for a minute. And, you know,
It was fun though, right?
It was fun.
Was it?
It was fun.
Yeah, because originally you didn't want to do this whole list.
I didn't want to do a whole shit. Yeah.
But I told you it would be. We wouldn't end up doing the whole thing, but we would pick out like.
You know what?
Oh, we didn't do the Saturn.
Was you surprised how I graded my shits?
A little bit. A little bit. You were way more fair than I thought. The only thing we didn't really grade was the Saturn, but again, to me, the Saturn is like C.
I would have given it more. I give it like a B. This is because I was a fan of Sega at that time.
I was too, but it just didn't catch on.
After Sega CD, it should you know, it tanked. Everything tanked. But yeah, guys, man, this is pretty cool, man. Let us know what you think, man. Let us know after this. If y'all watch this on a rewind and y'all stuck along this long, man, let us know what y'all grade, how y'all grade yours.
Yeah. Give us your list.
Give us your list definitely in the comments. And hopefully we come back and do some other stuff.
And if anyone says in the comments that the Xbox One was anything above an E, I will literally find you.
I give it a D.
And punch you.
I give it a D. I give it a D. But it's just, I know Microsoft. We're not gonna talk about it. We talked about it already. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this. My man Pino, thank you, man. I appreciate you. You stuck around the whole time, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Biggs, thank you for being in the chat. I know a couple of people was out there too. I know Eli was there, and my man Boston Chris was there too. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do next. I don't know. Shit, StreamYard's getting expensive too, guys.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Welcome back, we'll see what was the next time. You know,
4 years from now,
I might have to figure out doing pre-recorded shit, whatever, without StreamYard. Because going live, I don't see it possible. Other than that, man, I got nothing else going on. If y'all missed it, man, go to Big's channel, man. Go watch Coffee and Comics. We was there Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. This is a one shot.
You did Coffee and Comics?
Yeah, did we do Coffee and Comics?
No, it was an unboxing on Sunday.
It was same shit. It was unboxing?
Yeah.
Okay, it was an unboxing.
Unless you guys did Coffee and Comics on Saturday.
No. It was an unboxing.
God, I'm getting a sore throat from talking so much.
Yeah, we rusty, bro. All right, let's wrap this up, man. I appreciate everybody coming out, man. Thank you for joining us. Great to see everybody in the chat.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Everybody enjoy your holidays. Spend time with your loved ones. And hopefully we see you in 2025. Well, talk to StreamYard. Make sure to keep it at, $25. Right? Later.
Yeah.